This is the plaintiff, Dustin Burchett. He says he was at his house having a party one snowy night, and he heard his car alarm go off. When he ran outside, he saw the defendant's snowplow pulling away and was horrified when he looked over at his car. His door was smashed in. The defendant refuses to take responsibility and pay him the $4,036.87 in damages he caused. So he's suing him. This is the defendant, Kenneth Sexton. He says he was the one plowing that night and he did not hit the plaintiff's car. He told the cops exactly what he told the plaintiff. A blue car hit the plaintiff's car because there was blue paint on his car and his plow is not blue. The plaintiff doesn't care to listen to common sense. He knows the judge will. That's why he's confident in defending his case here and now. He's accused of plowing into a guy.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says it was a snowy night and his alarm kept going off, and he says the defendant got his snowplow, was plowing the street and slammed into his car. The defendant saying he didn't touch the plaintiff's car. It's the case of, I got plowed, I swear.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Burchett, you are sitting around in your apartment with a bunch of friends playing board games?
Yes, my house.
At your house. And all of a sudden you hear what that alerts your attention to the outdoors?
Yeah, so we're sitting on the couch and, actually even before he hit the car, you can hear the snowplow banging around in the street, dropping his plow on the road and whatnot. But he definitely made a crunching noise on my vehicle and my car alarm went off, and that's definitely when I knew that someone hit my car.
Okay, so you look outside right away?
Yeah, actually, where we were sitting in the living room overlooks in front of the house where the car is parked. And I happened to also be facing the window at the time. So, I was watching it immediately.
Okay, and what did you see?
So I saw a truck just going away from my vehicle.
Did you see a plow on the truck?
I could not see the plow while it was driving away.
Okay, I got you. All right, and so you were with a number of friends, correct?
Correct. I had 5 people over that evening.
All right, so you guys all run down to the car, and what do you see when you get there?
We saw a lot of tire tracks in the snow, and we saw that there was actually some tire tracks that were leading up to my vehicle. We saw, of course, the damage to the vehicle, and we noticed that the car was pushed back a good amount based off of the damage. We walked around for a couple minutes. I actually pretty immediately called the cops, probably within 2 or 3 minutes of the car alarm.
All right, so I see the tire tracks of some type of vehicle clearly grazing the side of your car, and your car being pushed. In this picture, you can tell that the car got pushed by a good 4 feet? This is the impact?
Yeah, that was the impact as we recorded it immediately after it occurred. Of course, you can see that the quarter panel has damage to it, and then that damage also extends to the door.
All right, let me hear from your witnesses. Who do you want to call first?
We can call Cody.
Cody, we need to
Yes,
swear
ma'am.
you in. Please raise your right hand.
All right, do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
I do.
Your Honor.
All right, Cody, what did you see that night?
What I saw personally is I stood up when I heard the kind of crunch, maybe a little bit of tire squeal, and of course the car alarm going off. Is that I saw a vehicle driving away. It was a truck. We immediately went out there, took a look around the vehicle, noticed that there was damage on the vehicle, called the police.
Now, when you guys called the police, you actually said a plow truck just hit the car, right? That was actually how
Correct.
the call came
Yeah.
in. And did you guys ever go talk? Did you and your brother, he's your brother?
Correct.
All right, did you guys ever go talk anytime later that night? Did you actually see the defendant's company's plow truck on the property next door, which I guess they're in charge of?
So we did, and I'm not quite sure 100% how that all, functions with the companies that are supposed to be plowing this area. But we did see another company, possibly the same company, plowing the same area where the previous truck was.
Okay, did you talk to them?
We did. It didn't really go anywhere.
All right, let me, actually, I know you have like 420 other witnesses. What I'd like to do is talk to you though, Mr. Sexton. You own a plow company, correct?
Yes, it's actually a landscape maintenance company, and one of the services we provide is plowing.
Okay, and on that night, in fact, you had been in the plow on that street at 12:30, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and the way that the plaintiff found this out was that he spoke to an employee of yours, and that's how he got your name, saying that you had been there earlier and the employee had just gotten there. Is that correct, Mr. Burkett?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so, and as luck would have it, that in fact was the case. You were there with a different plow at 12:30. And what happened? What did you see out there?
Okay, that's not how he got my name. What happened was I was plowing, I was done plowing, I left the property. I did not hit his car. Because my plow truck does not have a sander on it, I had to send another employee who sands behind me. So he came back, he sanded the property, and then the plaintiff and a couple of other guys accused him of me hitting his car. They said he had hit his car. My employee said, no, he was just there to sand. And then later, the police department had called our office person called me, and I called the police officer back.
My question to you is, did you see some car getting between you and the parked cars? Explain to me what you told the police there.
When we're plowing, there's cars coming and going at all hours. I don't care if it's 10 at night, 2 in the morning. There's constantly cars coming and going. And when I pushed the last pile, and the plaintiff's car is probably 40 feet from me on the other side of the street, and I had to wait for a car to pass between me and the plaintiff's car.
Okay, but did you see the car hit his car?
No.
Okay.
No,
How do you remember? It's such a weird thing to remember that there was a car going by there at that exact moment at 12:30 when you were there. There was another car going. It's such a strange thing to note and remember. How is it that you remember it? If you had seen it hit, well, then that's noteworthy. But how is it that as you sit here, you can remember that there was a car going by the plaintiff's car?
When we're plowing properties, that's as part of the training is exactly what you're looking for. You're very focused on cars that have their reverse lights on, they're getting ready to back out, delivery trucks, cars coming. The only reason I really remembered that one was because I had started to back up from the pile and I had to stop because the car passed between us. And usually, we have lights on top of the car flashing, and usually they're paying attention, but this car just drove through, so.
All right, Mr. Burkett, what do you do for a living?
I work for the government.
Doing? Just give me a general idea.
Mathematics.
Math? Okay, because boy, did you get into this. You presented a packet to the court with all kinds of calculations. Talk to me and tell me your best arguments on why you believe that the defendant is responsible for the damage.
I think the best thing that I have on my side is we have very clearly documented what tire tracks were on the scene. I do math currently for a living, but I used to work at a tire store. I did a little bit of analysis to show that I am very confident that those tires are Goodyear Duratrax or something similar that mimics the tread pattern. And the problem that we have is that those are, first of all, the only tire tracks that we could find on the scene. Second of all, they are clearly very close to my vehicle. And third of all, in multiple different avenues, we have evidence that suggests that the defendant thought that it was a mid-sized or small vehicle that came between his plow truck and my vehicle. Goodyear Duratrax cannot fit on any small vehicle. They are only meant for trucks, and they're actually very common for snowplow and fleet companies to use.
Okay, so yeah, whatever vehicle passed, it's clearly swerving or something. Something's happening there because it's going right past where your car is. And then I'm showing you the damage that's here. And I see a lot, as you might imagine, I see a lot of car damage cases. And I am looking at a very deep gouge down here, the bottom of the car door, and then another deep gouge just under the mirror, spanning exactly what it kind of looks a plow would span, And it's so bizarre that you actually have a memory of another car hitting through there. And then as it turns out, you're actually there at 12:30. You know, these cases are really, really tough to prove because normally here's how it looks. I've got the plaintiff's side will call it into the police and say, someone hit my car. And then they'll try to figure out who was in the area. And then all of a sudden the story gets better and it becomes the defendant's company truck hit my car. I saw him do it.
Welcome back to the People's Court. It's pretty simple. Did the defendant hit the plaintiff's car with a snowplow? The plaintiff says yes, the defendant says no. Let's go back into the courtroom.
Nobody claims to have seen the hit. Everybody claims, see, it sounds believable. They hear the plow, then they hear the crunch and the alarm go off, then they look. None of them are trying to say, oh, I saw the plow on a truck. They're all kind of honest. They're like, well, you know, it's going away from me, so I don't really see. But they make certain assumptions, and normally I'd see these assumptions and say, well, you can't prove your case. But what have I got on your side? I've got you placing yourself there at 12:30. I've got you noting that a car, which is a really strange thing to note, I've got the damage to the car just seems kind of consistent with two very sharp edges hitting it rather than crunching in from a car hitting it. You're suing for all kinds of numbers you can't get. I've seen your estimates. You gave me 3 estimates. I'm going to award you the lower of the estimates. The amount also that you've already paid to get it aligned so that you can drive it now. The rental, I'm going to award you that. And I want to explain something to you guys. This is not a criminal case. This is a civil case. In a criminal case, there needs to be proof beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt. In a civil case, it just has to be more likely than not. And I'm looking at these facts, and I find it more likely than not, based on what I have explained before. $2,789.08, verdict for the plaintiff.
Thank you.
I didn't get to talk about it.
Mr. Sexton, the defendant, let me talk to you. You were totally confident you were going to prevail in this case when you came into the courtroom. Let me ask you how you react to this. What do you think of the judge's verdict?
It just, I was unable to present my case, and it's very disappointing.
Well, I'm not surprised. I'm sorry, but that's the judge's verdict in the case. You're going to have to live with it and pay him $2,700. All right, let's talk to the plaintiff now. Mr. Burchett, how do you feel about the case? I'm sure you're feeling pretty good right now, aren't you? I think.
Yeah, I certainly feel good. I'm glad that the judge was able to review my document, and I think there was some useful information in there. And I think that being prepared, I think, really is what gave us the judgment today.
So congratulations. I hope you get your car going back and enjoy it, and it's okay. Now, let us rejoin Judge Millian with her husband, Judge John, and another session of After the Verdict.
So, Marilyn, it seems in this case you were convinced by the circumstantial evidence of the various witnesses about what they saw, what they heard, even though nobody actually saw the plow hit the car.
Yeah, well, that and the fact that the defendant places himself in a plow on that street at the exact moment when this happened. The car was parked on the street, and the plow hits it. There's no reason to wonder about plow service at his place because there was no evidence that there was plow service at his place.
Right.
It was still snowing when this happened.
And in March, no less. But
right.
Remind you why you moved to Florida.
That's right. Really, I think what convinced me was the kind of damage that we were looking at.
Right.
And by the way, if you look at those pictures, there's neither blue paint nor white paint. That's just scraped to the
primer coat, or the bare metal,
right? Like the bare metal. There's no paint transfer. But what convinced me is the 2 markings, which shows me that it's something metal that's hitting it like that, as opposed to the edge of a car. Right. The fact that the defendant places himself there at the exact time, what a coinkydink, at the exact time when this happens, and the fact that he's telling me how, there was another car it could have been.
Right, absolutely. And in criminal cases nowadays and civil cases, we see so many things solved by video because everybody's got these doorbell cameras and surveillance cameras on their house, and it's like nothing escapes the view of these things.
Right.
Murders get solved, property crimes get solved,
it's amazing.
civil cases get solved, And that would have made your job a little bit easier.
Yeah, if anybody had a ring bell on their front door and actually would have caught this on video, it would have been amazing. But no, law enforcement has been able to use that as a tool to solve cases. It may not even involve your house, but it involves the house in front of you, and you're facing it. And law enforcement now, when they see a Ring or any other brand doorbell that has video, they will knock on the homeowners' homes and ask, do you preserve the video? Can I see it? Yeah.
In any event, the circumstantial evidence was pretty compelling, and it was enough.
Yeah, and circumstantial evidence can carry the day in any case. I mean, a fingerprint is circumstantial evidence.
Right, it can be.
We are just plumb out of time. We'll see you next time.